Nicholas Baptist Pastor Nicholas Hopkins Baptist Church in Douglas Park. I want to I want to come to you today with this and make this speech and announcement on homeless and the needy in Chicago. I want to be able to I want to let people know that I put some quotes in there in the next newsletter about from that the editor in chief that currently does the monthly newsletter. I put quotes in there about the outreach experience from me and the church first lady about about in Chicago. The editor in chief needs to provide grammar correct grammar typos in the next American Homelessness Coalition newsletter as well, because I proofread it and she needed to do so. It will be done that will be done later this week. I am a religious leader that care about ending homelessness and poverty so it can free up funding in Social Security trust funds for future generations. I can understand it is hard to find a job among homeless people and they need some kind of income to stabilize themselves financially. Definitely if they stay in places in Chicago like Pacific Garden Mission, Cornerstone Community Outreach, Physician Outreach Association, other shelters in the streets of Chicago. It's like, I can understand their frustration, humiliation, and staying in places like those homeless shelters in Chicago, not just in Chicago, but places like not rural, but urban areas that have a high homelessness rate. We need to end more race relations in the country because I am tired of seeing Caucasians look down at black communities today. That needs to change. I blame white Caucasians on the killing of Pastor Pickney on the South Carolina church shooting because the person that was shot, those damn people were Caucasian because Caucasian and racist. And I'm not no disrespect, but I believe that we need to end race relations and bring down the Confederate flag that I've advocated for in the past in the South, across the South, to unify more community. I do believe and know who the person is. I do know. I'm not like Donald Trump. I do know who the person that runs the KKK is. I know who he is, but I just can't remember his name. We got so much going on right now professionally. I can't think of his name right now, but I know who he is. I blame our young, and I believe that we need to unify the country in the divisiveness, not provide racism. Young white Caucasians should not have been able to get away with the South Carolina church shooting. It is time for black communities in this country to stand up and come together and say enough is enough. This country belongs to all of us, not just white Caucasian people. As senior pastor, I want to say that I can understand people's frustration and humiliation in Chicago, on the streets of Chicago, because people that run supportive housing facilities in this supportive housing facility do not care, and that's not just for Chicago, that's for everywhere, do not care for putting people out on the streets. I will continue to stand up for homeless people in Chicago like I'm doing as a religious leader now because it can help people get on their feet. I actually know people in Chicago that are homeless that stay at places like Pacific Garden Mission and reached out to people to stay at places like Pacific Garden Mission, Cornerstone Community Outreach, a little bit of heaven, and people and Olive Branch Mission, Physician Outreach Association, because I can understand those people's frustration that they want to actually live on their own long term. Some people, I found out some people that stay at places, shelters in Chicago, cannot stay on their own long term because they don't have the personal finance to do so. So they end up on their own for 3 months of time, and they end up back in places like homeless shelters like Pacific Guard Mission, Cornerstone Community Outreach, Olive Branch Mission, a little bit of heaven, because they don't have the personal finances to stay in their own housing long term. That needs to change today. As a religious leader, I will continue to address the issue of homelessness in Chicago, a place like Chicago, because we need a lot of changes. Because people, I see a lot of black African American homeless people shut out of the system in this country because they're not they're not treated fairly. They're not treated fairly in this country. They are not. I don't see them be treated fairly, and they feel like they being disrespected by the system. And I believe that by the system, black people being locked up for no reason. That's why I'm still on a big 50-50 if I would support legalizing marijuana because some people do. I can understand some people smoke marijuana for medical problems, to prevent glaucoma and so on. But I feel 50-50 on that issue right now in this election. We need to. And I support, I can understand people that stay in places like homeless shelters in Chicago want their own permanent housing and do not. And I actually know people that stay at those shelters. Get to know people that stay at those. I know people that stay at those shelters, and they do not want to believe me when I say they do not want to be there. Period. They want to be in their own permanent housing. But they can't get their own personal help, and they lack the personal finance to do so. And I'm tired of African Americans today being looked by white people as nobody, with no goals, objectives, and dreams. I believe that homeless people in Chicago, homeless shelter, and homeless want to live the American dream and have jobs, but they're not given the opportunity to do so because they're being treated unfairly by employers and the system, and they shut out of the system, and that needs to change. That time is now. I will continue to stand up for the homeless people because I believe it is wrong, immoral, and how they are treated in Chicago today. I believe that homeless people want change, and they want to get after. They want their lives to not be like run to a brick wall. They want to actually get past that brick wall and succeed in today's economy. They want prepared jobs. They want affordable health care. They want a college education. They want everything. They want every opportunity that other African Americans have today, but they are not getting that opportunity. Like, for example, like at Pacific Guard Mission doesn't offer any case management resources to help people get on their feet. It's like and I believe that it's morally wrong for people like probation officers to be sending that the first place they send their clients is to places like Pacific Guard Mission. They should have other options for those people, like listen to reach out to family members or anybody that can help take them in until they get themselves back on their feet financially. I say that needs to happen today. I don't believe that people like that been in prison, that got released from prison on parole or anything like that should have to go to places like Pacific Guard Mission to live. They should be able to live with family so people want to, because when people that stay at Pacific Guard Mission, places like Pacific Guard Mission are being looked at nobody in Chicago, and I'm in Chicago, and that need to change by employers. That need to change. People and more employers need to take a risk and hire more ex-offenders under the Illinois ceiling bill that passed the Illinois General Assembly to hire more ex-offenders so I can get their lives back on track. Like because I support programs like the CTA Second Chance program that offer an economic opportunities for ex-offenders when they get released from prison or on parole. And I want to say that it is not good. I do not want to see, and it's like more majority of people that stays at these homeless shelters are mostly are dominantly African American. Less people like whites, Caucasian, and Latinos, and Native Americans and other racials are less in population in places like homeless shelter but more African Americans, it's a huge problem right now with barriers that I want to help actually continue to stand up and come and help more African American black men, black women come together and say enough is enough and give them the opportunity in the country they deserve. Thank you, and God bless America.